At a time when Indian agencies are testing global waters, Nuseir Yassin, the man behind NAS Empire, is launching 1000 Media with India as one of the key markets. On this episode of The Quick Call, Nuseir will tell us what Indian brands can expect from him. Welcome to The Quick Call, Nuseir. I'm excited to have you as a guest on this podcast. You're fortunately our first international guest. I've had stalwarts from advertising and marketing ecosystem on this podcast in the past, but this is the first time that I have someone across borders. I was following your journey on Instagram and I was looking at how beautifully you tell stories about people, about places, about companies, and your experiences with them. Tell me, Nas, the journey from NAS Daily to NAS Summit and now 1000 Media, how did you go about building the whole NAS empire?
With lots of hard work and tears and blood. that's that's the only way. Um, Look, it's we're very lucky to have tens of millions of followers, and we're seeing what the market wants. The market wants its own NAS Daily. The market wants somebody to help it build its own channel, its own NAS Daily, its own story, its own brand. And we're like, fine, if the market wants that, let's build that. So that's how we ended up coming up with 1000 Media, because of the demands of people. Hey, how can I make video? Hey, how can I grow on Instagram? Hey, how can I grow my company using content? That's the idea.
But how did you start NAS Daily in the first place? And how did you evolve from NAS Daily to NAS Summit to NAS.io as well?
I mean, I started Nas Daily with just making a video every day, right, with a camera, just by myself. Then it snowballs from there. Then you hire people to help you. Then you become a company. Then you get clients. Then you create a summit. It's about company building. So you transition from being a creator to becoming an entrepreneur, and then you raise money for the technology firm. You get VC funding, and then you hire another team for that. So it's really continuous daily work. It's not a straight line. We make a lot of mistakes, but as long as you're always going up, keep going.
Okay. If you retrospect, what are the levers of growth that contributed towards what NAS ecosystem is right now? If you had to pinpoint uh, two or three things that you did right, which got you here from where you were or where you started.
I committed. That's the only thing I did right. I committed. Basically said, this is not for fun. This is life and death. And the only way to build a company is to say there's no failure. So that's number one. Number two is we went where the opportunity is. To be clear, we're not successful yet. We're still in the middle of building, but we're going where the opportunity is. We see opportunity in India. We're like, fine, let's launch in India. Let's make a summit in India. Let's build a company in India. Wherever there's opportunity in the world, we will go.
So basically tapping onto opportunities and committing yourself to a certain objective.
Yes.
Now, like from an advertising and marketing perspective, since you've been building, like you've seen that transition from being a creator to an entrepreneur, what are some of the key pain points or need gaps that brands have on social media? And like, if you could entail those and then tell us how you're planning to solve those for brands with Thousand Media.
Most brands, unfortunately, uh, don't build the right social media team. That's the issue. They, unfortunately, the most creative people are not on LinkedIn. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok. They're creating content. So when you hire marketing people that are not creators themselves, it's very hard for a marketing person to become a creator, but it's very easy for a creator to become a marketing person. So that's really what we help brands is build teams of really creative, talented people that can take your product, take your brand, and make it viral. That's the big idea.
Okay. And so one thing is the lack of creator mindset. Any other pain point or need gap you see where brands are falling short on social media?
It's the lack of the team. It all starts with the team. The second thing is the frequency of upload. Most brands upload once a week, twice a week. You got to upload once a day. And the third is the format. Most brands make content that's very salesy. The trick is you got to make content that's very educational. You're secretly a university. The more you educate the world, the better your brand looks. And so this is what's important for brands to understand. Stop selling us your product and educate us on how you built the product. That is what we want to know, the story behind it.
You've mentioned that brand should not be built on top of algorithms, and brand should look at building their own communities. So if you could tell me what you actually meant by that. I mean, are you saying that they should have limited or no dependence on social media platforms and build their own platforms?
Definitely not. They should not build their own social media platforms, but they should not build a business on top of social media platforms. You should use social media to get attention, and that's it. Once you get the attention, get people to come to your website and capture their data. That's very important. So, capturing the data is as important as going viral. So what we help brands with 1000 Media, what we do is, okay, you're going viral, but hey, download the app. Hey, give us your email. We caught you. Give us your email, right? And because when you catch somebody on social media, there's no guarantee that you can catch them again. That's the problem. So you want to when you capture them, get their data.
Yeah, and that's what something NAS.io helps brands or even
Yes,
individuals with, to build a
yes,
community on top of a tech platform that you've built for them. Um,
yes,
Coming to your experience with India specifically as a market, I know that you hosted the NAS Summit last year, and you were here for the Mahakumbh as well. What kind of experiences you had with India as a market, and did those experiences see the thought of launching 1000 Media in India, or
yes.
you always saw the size of the market and you've always felt like launching something in India?
India is brand heavy. India is heavy on brands and branding. There's a lot of companies in India that are interested in branding via content. So it kind of matches with kind of what we do as well. We've worked with a lot of companies in India already. We have a few clients like Adani, Fitter, Leverage EDU, a lot of startups, a lot of multinational corporations. We work with them to tell their story and build their channels. And so we saw there's signs of success. And we said, okay, let's double down on it and make more. And that's kind of why we said, okay, let's make this to a proper company because there's already signs of success from India.
Correct. And so, did you get these first few clients that you mentioned when you hosted the NAS Summit in India, or these clients reached out to you on their own?
Both. These clients come to us in both ways through NAS summits, through the many different activations that we do as a brand. We're trying to build a brand for many years now, and really our brand stands for bringing people together. So we really care about educating the industry, teaching content creators. And then in the process, brands see this and they say, I want to use your services. But now we're formalizing this. It used to be one here, one there. Now we're like, okay, this is a proper company called 1000 Media. Let's build it in India with a proper team. Let's go.
I get that you have a very strong creative mindset and you built a company on top of that mindset. What kind of services can 1000 Media offer to Indian brands? Content and social media is one thing, but apart from that, is there a whole stack of offerings that you have? Because Indian brands, like you also mentioned, are quite heavy on branding and marketing in general. They do a lot of compartmentalization of services. They have an agency that only does media for them. They have an agency that looks after mainline creative. Then they have an agency that does social media content for them. How is Thousand Media planning to differentiate in this clutter of services that Indian agencies are offering? And where do you see an opportunity for 1000 Media?
So we see a very different, like a very specific space. So we have three products. One is mentorship. We basically look at your socials and we give you a personalized report. It's very cheap. Personalized report say, this is what you're doing right. This is what you're missing. This is what you should do next month. Do it. That's mentorship. Another one is with AI. We build a complete new AI channel for you. This is something that was not possible before. So we get an AI creator, AI influencer, and we create AI content just for you. The third one is we say, let's build the whole team for you. So we hire the people, we train them, and we make them create content for you. These services are not offered by traditional agencies. Traditional agencies say, let me run ads for you, or here's two videos, pay per video. We have proper mentorship, proper AI technology in house, and then an actual proper recruiting and brand building. These three products help you build a brand, not just make one or two videos and then just hope for the best. So this is how we see it a little bit different than other agencies. And plus, our team went viral before. We've built millions of followers and views organically, zero paid. No other agency has done that. This is our opportunity.
I did see the promo that you've put out for the thousand media as well, where you're saying the team that had built NAS for you, or the team that had built NAS would be building brand you for the companies who are working with you. So how do you plan to hire talent which again maps, like matches with your rationale and your mindset? And do you plan to hire local talent as well, or it would only be the teams that have worked on NAS in the past?
So a significant part of our team is local talent already on NAS Daily. So we have plans to also hire more and more. Every talent we hire, we make them go through a training program that basically makes them ready for social media. So we want to build a really good world-class training program. The reason why we're different from other agencies is because we can attract talent. And because of NAS Daily, you can get creative people to come and work with NAS Daily, video editors, producers, scriptwriters. It's very different from like another agency that doesn't have a brand and doesn't have followers. Attracting talent is the hardest thing in the world. And that is what we're trying to do.
So when you're saying with 1000 media in India, you'll also have local talent working for these brands, which are obviously guided and trained by your core teams.
Yes. Yes.
And one last thing, how do you plan to marry the expertise that you have with India's cultural palette? Because India is like, it has like probably hundreds of countries within India as well, and each state is very different, each city is very different. There is a change in language dialect that happens every 50 kilometers or so.
I mean, this is why a significant part of our team is made up of Indians, right? That's one, is like build local talent. And number two is we can make videos not just in English. We can make them in local languages. Actually, every NAS Daily video is translated to 17 different languages. So we have that ability to create local content as well. It's not hard. And especially with AI, it's going to become increasingly easier and easier.
Okay. So you have this stack of AI technology that you would use for brands in that second product
Yes.
that you mentioned.
Yes.
And how are these products priced? I mean, like, is there a range? I'm not asking for an absolute value, but is there a range?
The range is, yeah, from $1,000 a month to $50,000 a month. It really depends
Okay.
on the services that you're using. It's very, very different based on the scale and what you are looking to do.
So these are retainer models like agencies have essentially, but with a
Yes.
product layer to it.
Yes.
Got it. Cool. Is there anything else you want our listeners to know about 1000 Media or what you're planning to launch in India?
Um, they should go to 1000media.com and check it out. We think we have a very good product. We think it's better than what exists out there. And we're here to work with everybody. We're not here to take sides and we're not here to take fights. We come in peace.
Cool. At the NAS Summit, there is a specific offering that you have a dinner with NAS, which is priced at a certain premium as well. So, do Indian brands get a chance to have a dinner with NAS if they sign on one of your product, or how?
That's a great question. No one has asked me that question before. We didn't think about that, but now that you say it, yes, they do. You get to
Yeah,
have much
because
more than a dinner. You get to have like proper WhatsApp communication with me. I become responsible for your happiness. That's what happens when
wow.
you work with us. I become responsible for your happiness.
Well, I think that's a good takeaway. I mean, that's one of the good USPs that your teams could sell to Indian brands. They would love to have like a one-to-one conversation with you, probably not just about marketing, but in general, I believe.
It's a good idea. Well, think about it.
Yeah.
I'll take that feedback. That's a good idea.
So it's time for a quick wrap. Nas, tell me one myth you would like to bust about brand marketing.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody thinks they know what they're doing. Everybody's betting. It's a betting game. We're all betting.
Right. One lesser known hack for brands on social media.
One, make short content, short vertical content, and a lot of it.
Your favorite Indian campaigns of all time.
The Nickel Kamath podcast. We should have made that. He did a great job with it.
You were a part of one of his podcasts, right? One Indian brand you aspire to work with, like your dream Indian brand to work with.
The government of India.
One of the biggest brands in India that way.
The Prime Minister's office.
Wow. Lastly, your elevator pitch to Indian brands.
We got billions of views on social media. We know how to do it. And now we'll do it for you.
Super. All right. Thank you, Nusair. Thank you so much for sparing time to do this. And we wish you all the very best for the launch of 1000 Media in India. We hope to see you crack social for Indian brands the
Thank
way
you.
you've done it for the NAS ecosystem. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Tesh. I really appreciate it. And thank you for having us on the podcast. And hopefully we can work together.
Absolutely. Thank you for jumping on this quick call with Hitesh. I'll see you in the next episode.